Hey everybody, how's it going tonight? I know it's another live. I am here. This one's I'm not gonna be playing music or anything, but I just was uploading a video that was gonna put out and do like a live chat, which I haven't done in a long time. And then this, I just saw this post pop up. I know it's you're probably already on this, but I know that Emily Kiser. If you don't know the situation with Emily Kiser, she's an influencer who was fighting to give her child privacy, who died after negligence and everything else, and was fighting for privacy. She pulled off like it was just it was gross. It was and no one likes it. It's a bad story all around, losing a child, everything else. And so I wanted to take a look at the police report, and I'm just actually looking for it. I thought I had it, but it's one screen of it. But I was also, hold on, I'm gonna look for it here. Is someone? Ah, man, I thought I had it. Summary to full length redacted. Here it is. Okay, here we go. Here's the police report redacted. Okay, so if you don't know anything with the case, go back and look at some of my videos on it. It's pretty crazy. Um, it's insane. You saw the Kira's last vlog. Yeah, Kira got rid of her dogs, by the way, if you didn't know. Like, I just found that out tonight, too. Lots of stuff going on tonight in my world. Lots of calls coming in, lots of threads, lots of other crap going on with other, like, family and nomads, which I'm re-releasing the video about. It's crazy what's going on tonight. Again, Kira getting rid of her dogs from this, and then this Emily Kiser update. But let's read this police report together. I think this is a really important case to cover as far as child exploitation is concerned. And this is it. General offense information. Let me just scroll down here. I'm reading this for the first time with you guys. Okay. Um, Chandler, Arizona. I'm glad someone redacted. That's great. Okay. Here it is. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, narrative. On the date of 5/12/2025, approximately 1840 hours, which is 6:40 p.m., Chandler police were dispatched to the report of a drowning incident at address. The original call notes indicated the reporting party's son was in the pool. Call notes further advised that the son was unconscious and not breathing. The son was reported to be 3 years old. The reporting party was advised to open the door for responding officers. Call notes indicated compression instructions were being given. So he was being given the instructions to give compressions. Also, if you guys don't know how to do CPR or have the most basic first aid, please consider doing it. I won't shame you here, but please consider understanding first aid. Obviously, I have a nurse wife, and that's awesome. But I also am a first responder. Like, I've taken the course, not a first responder. I've taken the first, whatever you call it, on scene first aid. I've had to for a bunch of courses. But you should absolutely know how to do CPR and how to do compressions and everything else. Okay, that's just a side note. Upon being dispatched for the call for service, I immediately initiated my emergency lights and sirens on my fully marked patrol vehicle and began to expeditiously drive to the incident location. And I arrived on scene at the incident residence at the same time and immediately ran towards the front door. A male would open the door for officers, then run inside. As I entered into the residence, I observed a small male toddler lying motionless on the ground in between a couch and bar stools in the living room. I would immediately run over to the toddler, who appeared to have lack of color of skin and unconscious. The toddler did not appear to be breathing. This is such a nightmare. This is such a nightmare. This is such a nightmare, guys. I don't know. And I also observed a large wet spot on the ground around the toddler. I observed what appeared to be vomit on the ground and the head region of the toddler. I immediately began giving chest compressions to the toddler. The male unseen who left officers inside was extremely distraught. The male subject would go and pick up an infant baby while I continued to give compressions to the unconscious toddler. Officers attempted to garner further information about the incident from the male. Officers were able to receive that the male subject had last seen the toddler approximately 5 minutes before the incident. And now you're going to see that he says 5 minutes, but it's more like 10. Okay? While continuing to provide emergency aid, I observed the throw up in the ground in the toddler's head and requested to verify if the toddler had obstructed airway. While continuing with emergency aid, I ascertained that I had potential further medical equipment in my vehicle that could possibly be of assistance. I coordinated with OFC to give chest compressions while I returned to my patrol vehicle. I don't know. Upon returning inside, I was advised as Chandler Fire, my supervisor, were arriving on scene momentarily while working through the equipment I obtained. I would then return inside the residence and clear up material belonging and furniture to provide Chandler Fire with a workspace. I was directed to get a towel by the firefighters. This is super detailed, by the way. Not being charged because they have pretty big, deep connections in the law world in where they're from. Yeah, and this is true too. I feel bad for the father. This is a terrible accident, and it's disgusting. Like that this happened. But when you guys hear what I read on Reddit, and if it's true, you're gonna be super upset. Okay. Whoa, no, I didn't see that. I'll look at it in a minute. After being relieved of my duties on scene, I would conclude my current involvement in the incident. Other assisting officers would continue their involvement in the incident and conduct follow-up as advised. The Chandler Police Criminal Investigation Bureau is notified of the incident who would assume the investigation. This report is listed as Chandler Police Assist the Fire Department Informational Report. This incident report will be used to document Chandler's police response and assistance to the report of a toddler who had been found unresponsive at a pool. This report is meant to be a synopsis of pertinent events. Case disposition open. Okay, and then it goes down to this, another one. At 1922, so this is 7/22. I responded to provide scene security until CIB arrived to investigate. While waiting on scene, a cousin to the family who also arrived and requested to gather some items for the newborn from inside the residence. I confirmed with LT Waters, and we allowed access to the home to gather some necessities for the newborn. So the cousin came home before the mom came home. I didn't know that. So before even Emily got, how far was Emily away from this? Because if the cousin got there first to take the kid, that's pretty crazy. I followed through the residence as she gathered, and now as we read these, you understand why they wanted to keep them private, because this isn't really about privacy. This is about negligence, and they don't want people to know. I remain on scene, assisted CIB evidence tech while they conducted. Okay, that's the conclusion of their part of the case. Here it is. On 2024 at 7:45, I was asked to assist Detective M. Wright with a drowning investigation in Chandler. I contacted Lieutenant Zed Waters via telephone to discuss the case. I learned that at 6:41, a 911 call was received from and indicated his 3-year-old. We already know all that. The residence was secured as a crime scene, and nobody was permitted to enter the residence. It was requested that I author a search warrant to process the scene in this case. So the officer was like getting a search warrant. That's pretty crazy. I authored a search warrant, which the Honorable Richard Bake granted at 10:33. No, 10:33. I then 8:30. I don't even know my military hours. I then responded to execute the warrant and process the scene. 8:33. Okay. During his time, I was assisted by CST Fleck. The warrant was executed at 21:06 hours, and overall photographs are taken upon entering the residence. You enter a small foyer, then proceed west into a great room. To the south and kitchen to the north. Between these rooms, I observed a wet t-shirt that was tan in color. Also present were a couple of dry blankets. On the tile floor where these items were located, I observed vomit. It was apparent that this was where the child was taken after being removed from the pool. This is an insane story. The residents had, this is crazy. Roxy, you're right. These doors were located, okay, so the residents had 4 access points leading to the backyard. 4! Large 4-panel sliding doors. These doors were located on the west side of the great room and led to the back patio. The main sliding door containing the locking mechanism was located on the north end. The handle measured between 33 and 37 from the floor. The locking mechanism measured between 38 and 41 from the floor. The door was unlocked and opened with little effort. The door was not self-closing or self-latching. On this door, there was an alarm system. When the door opened, the alarm did not sound. So not only did they not have a pool around their fence, they also had an alarm on their door that was not working. Right? Wow. So then there's the breakfast nook door. This door was an outward opening glass door. The handle was a lever style handle that measured 41 to 42 from the floor. The deadbolt measured 39 from the floor, so it was lower than the handle. The door was also equipped with an alarm. The alarm did not sound when the door opened. The door did not shut properly and did not lock. The door was not self-closing. It appeared to be malfunctioning. That's 2 doors that are malfunctioning, an alarm system that doesn't work, and no pool around the fence. Holy shit. And then there's this door here, which is the master bedroom door. This door is an outward opening glass door. The handle was a lever style measuring 42, and then the deadbolt measuring 30. The door was not self-closing. This door was also equipped with an alarm. The alarm did not sound when the door opened. All the doors, none of them are working as far as the alarm is concerned. The door was an outward opening glass door, so this is the guest bedroom door. Another door outside, also equipped with an alarm, also did not sound when opened. Within the residence, I noticed a plate with pancakes on the sofa in the great room. A box of similar Belgian-style pancakes was located on the kitchen island. Next to the plate, there was a white handheld gaming system. It appeared that this was where the 3-year-old child had once sat. Between the kitchen and the breakfast nook, I observed 4 bar stools. The stools were aligned in such a manner that it appeared that they were placed to block access between the great room and the breakfast nook, where the outward opening door was located. It was unknown whether this was on purpose or not. This is what I'm saying. After reading this, you can understand why they wanted charges filed. The fact that the prosecutor didn't is actually pretty crazy. There's some craziness going on here. Wow. Wow. I entered the backyard and noticed a large rectangular diving pool that measured 22 inches wide and 45 inches long. The deepest portion of the pool, diving pool. The deepest portion of the pool was 22 feet wide by 40 feet long. Okay. The deepest portion of the pool was approximately 102 inches deep. There was a diving board at the deepest end of the pool. The shallow portion of the pool is located in the south end, was 38 inches deep. The middle area was 77 inches deep. On the west side of the pool was a hot tub that measured 7 by 7. The hot tub area was elevated above the pool, and there were stairs. There was a seat on all 4 sides. The floor, okay, just measuring the temperature of the hot tub, was 91 degrees. On the east end of the pool was a large lounge area, sometimes referred to as a Baja shelf. The depth of the water, holy, this is a pretty big pool. On the southwest portion of the pool, I observed a large netting and fabric top rolled up into PVC carriers. These were covers for the pool that were not in use at the time. It was later learned that the covers were in place most of the time, but were recently removed so the family could enjoy the pool. They were never replaced. Damn. On the north end of the yard, there was a large inflatable slide in the glass area. There was a small amount of water in the basin. Throughout the backyard, I observed a large number of kids' toys. The toys were throughout the yard, even at the bottom of the pool and hot tub. So there was toys at the bottom of the pool, which may be likely he was going to get. No pool gate or barrier was in place at the time. There it is, everybody. After this warrant, a copy of the warrant was left on the kitchen table. Nothing of evidentiary value was seized. Only photographs and measurements were obtained. I exited the residence approximately 21:56. All of my findings were relayed to Detective Reitz. I again assisted 2 additional search warrants. The first was written in a Simple System LLC to obtain video surveillance from the house. At 11:06 hours, I emailed the warrant to Simple Systems, and I was contacted by Michael Wood with the Simple Systems and informed they did not have remote access to this data. They indicated that within the residence there was an equipment rack and a closet near the garage. On this rack there was a network video recorder that had the stored requested data. They added that the homeowner would have access to the data. At 21:12:15, I authored an additional warrant for the residence to obtain this footage. Search warrant was granted. I assisted Detective R with serving this at 14:21. With us at the time who was a family member of Emily and Brady. So when they did the search warrant, there was a family member there with them. After the warrant, a copy of the warrant was left. This concluded my involvement. Wow, this is crazy. There is laws, if people are wondering. There are laws in Arizona, which is why they were trying to get them criminally charged, or him. All right. Due to the son not breathing, this is the... myself and Officer King dispatched Chandler Johnny State through his son. I mean, this just kind of repeated the same thing that already went down. I don't want to keep repeating it. Here's something a little bit updated. After they noticed the child was unconscious, not breathing, I observed RP, the father, in a state of panic and concern for his child. RP was pacing back and forth in the room where the child was at. While we're checking on the child, Officer Shank began doing compressions. As Officer Shank was conducting chest compression, I observed the rear siding door to be open. Outside of a door, a dog was charging towards the door. For the safety of the officers and preservation of the scene, I attempted to close the door and lock out the dog. While attempting to close the door, the RP ran outside and picked up his other infant. The infant appeared to be unharmed and healthy. Oh my gosh. The other kid was outside while this was going on. What? The other kid was outside. The RP then told me his wife had just gone out with friends. RP also stated there was a 5-minute time gap that he did not know where her son was, to which I relayed this information to Chandler Dispatch shortly after the RP found in the pool that his son was unconscious. The RP got his son out of the pool and contacted emergency services. Once RP was inside, I closed the rear door and locked out the dog. I then checked on Officer Shank, kept doing compressions, blah, blah, blah. Then they transported the child. Okay. They just said the body-worn camera footage is available. Can someone send that link to me on Instagram, please? All right. Here's some more. I arrived at PCH and learned more information from Officer Carey. The 3-year-old victim who was home with his father, 1-month-old brother, and was at a restaurant with some friends when the incident occurred. On scene, Brady said he lost 5 minutes. Keep saying 5 minutes. He really kept repeating that. There was a long period while doctors and nurses provided treatment, and Emily sat in the hallway watching. Brady had not arrived yet, so I introduced myself, Emily, but did not attempt to interview her. Brady arrived at the family, was taken to a conference room nearby. Man, it's crazy. Continued to get treatment due to logistical space considerations. Pediatric intensive care unit. PICU. I will take a look at that. Please Instagram me that. Please. Thank you for that. Conversation with Brady was audio recorded. So this is what they don't want out. The conversation with Brady was audio recorded using my Axon body-worn camera. I asked Brady to tell me about the whole day, starting from when he woke up. The following is a summary of Brady's statement. Here we go. Not an exact transcript. The interview has been uploaded to evidence.com. Okay. This is what they wanted to hide, everybody, and we're not going to let them. Brady woke up around 7 a.m., made breakfast for. Before taking him to school, he stopped on the way home, picked up coffee for himself and Emily. After getting home, Brady went to the gym for a workout. He then did some stuff around the house before it was time to pick up kid. Around 2:15, Brady left to pick up and stopped at McDonald's on the way home. They arrived back home at 4:30, and the four of them spent time at the house until Emily left at 6 p.m. to go out with friends for the night. After Emily left, Brady made dinner as he fed someone a bottle, finished his dinner, and went into the backyard. Brady was sitting in a back chair and pointed to the backyard out through the back windows because I was holding baby and I wanted to see child. Child was seen in the grass area of the backyard near a blow-up playhouse. Brady saw him walk from that area in the grass up to the elevated portion where the hot tub was at. That's where I had seen him last. He left him outside. He said that's where he saw him last. By the hot tub. So he went in. What? He just left his kid outside, went in the house with his pool, no fence and no thing over it. That changes this whole narrative because a lot of us thought the kid snuck out of the door. He left his kid outside, then went in the house. What? Was seen in the grass area. After seeing him near the hot tub, Brady thought he went and got a drink. He then went back to see where it was, and Brady went and saw him in the water. No, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. He went to get a drink of water for 5 minutes? He laid someone on the ground, took his shirt off, and dove into the pool. After pulling from the pool, Brady carried him inside, laid him on the ground. Brady said that he was lying. He's lying at the scene of the crime. There's no way. When the police arrived, so then they got the footage. Oh, sorry. I'm just, my brain isn't catching up here. Okay, so when the police arrived, they took over CPR, blah, blah, blah. After he left in an ambulance, Brady gathered a few things, went to the hospital in a fire truck. I clarified that Brady knew he was outside. He told me when he got up from eating to go outside, I said, okay, I was aware of it. Brady again mentioned that he was watching out the back window and said, I didn't have a clock. Obviously, I don't know the exact time, but it was moments. It wasn't minutes. It was moments. It was that he had been out of sight for long. He said moments. What we're going to find out, thank you, Rosalind, what we're going to find out was that it was 9 minutes. I asked Brady about the 5-minute statement he made to patrol and scene. He said that he's told different people 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but he wasn't sure the exact timing. He said it wasn't very long. Brady and I discussed the layout of the backyard, the elevated hot tub, and where he's found in the pool. He described finding in the water below the elevated hot tub and diving across the pool to get him. It became clear that this elevated area around the hot tub is a common spot for a kid to play, and he plays in the backyard often. Brady said there were toys in that area, and that plays in the backyard all the time throughout the day. He's out there with the dogs. He's in and out. It's what he does. So if he's in and out, if this 3-year-old is in and out and you know it and you're admitting it, why do you not have pool safety? That is crazy to me. I asked Brady what he thought happened. He said, I think that he was just playing out back. He was wandering and playing like he does, and he must have slipped. Must have, I think it was an accidental that he had fallen into the water, obvious because he knows he's safe. He knows he's not supposed to go around it. We talked about the surveillance cameras on the exterior of the house. Brady identified them as HIK cameras, a manufacturer of surveillance systems. How best to obtain the surveillance video was unknown that night, but Brady speculated that his surveillance company had remote access, which they didn't, by the way, everybody. I think you would know that. And here's Emily's statement. Emily left to meet friends at Taco Place around 20 minutes from their house. She remembers arriving at the restaurant at 6:32 because she was a couple minutes late. Brady called her and was inconsolable, but I told her I needed to come home and that child had fallen into the pool. Emily immediately left. Her friend drove to the Chandler Medical Center in Emily's car. She then flew in a helicopter to PCH after they got him stable. The Department of Child Safety was contacted by staff, and an investigator with DCS after hours of investigation responded. Okay, the majority of those interviews were the same or very similar to whatever had been reported. Brady recounted his day again, and nothing had changed in those details. Emily had left. He described feeding dinner, got up from the couch, and walked to the sliding glass door. Brady acknowledged child going into the backyard and told him to stay close. He again stated, walked over and was playing in the grass off to the side, and then I saw him walk up on, it's kind of an elevated platform. I had seen him playing around there, and at that point, I have eyes on him. This is crazy, everybody. This is insane. This is insane. Dan asked how long it takes to feed, and Brady responded 15 to 20 minutes. Brady estimated that child was outside for a total of 3 minutes. From the time he walked out to the sliding glass door until I saw him in the pool, after giving a 3-minute time estimate, he made the following statement. I was home alone. I had both kids, and so I knew I needed to obviously be tending on both of them. So child was out of my sight wasn't ever out of my sight for long, but I mean, he abruptly ended that sentence there. Interesting. Swimming ability came up, and Brady reported that child had been to some swim lessons and knows how to kick his feet and swing his arms, but he's not proficient. So you have a child who's not proficient in swimming, and I'm pretty sure if you look back on all the threads, she does say that the kid goes to swimming lessons. So you've got a kid who really can't swim. Let's be real. And you don't have a fence around your pool, and you have a net that's supposed to help them, and you don't have it up. It's so preventable, and that's why they wanted to press charges. But now they're going to be held to account in the court of public opinion. Okay? Brady estimated he was outside for 3 minutes. Swimming ability came up. He's not proficient, knows not to go in the water without us. After speaking with Brady, Dana interviewed Emily. Emily did not report anything new or different when she recounted the day from her perspective. However, the topic of child's swimming ability came up. Emily said that child has taken swim lessons but didn't fully know how to swim. She said child knew how to swim to us and knew how to climb the wall, but where he fell in was no wall. There's no wall there? Okay, I'll take a look at that. Thank you very much. This is crazy. Emily said child will play in the Baja step in the pool while being watched but doesn't go in the pool unsupervised. She then mentioned we usually have a net on the pool. This detail was mentioned in the original interview, but Emily elaborated the net was called a Catch a Kid. She told Dana we were swimming as a family the last couple of days, so we didn't put it back. Too bad. You put that shit back. Shortly after the 8-hit interview, I left PCH. At that time, I was early morning hours of May 13th. Here's a surveillance video, which is all redacted. The Maricopa County Officer of Medical Examiner took custody of the child's body in the external exam. Okay, holy shit, this is a crazy. Here's Brady Kiser's second interview. Exactly, how many times repeat? This is nuts. Okay, due to the discrepancy between Brady's initial statement on the night of May 12th and what was seen on the surveillance video, I asked him to come in for a second interview. Brady agreed and came to the Chandler Police Department on June 16th, accompanied by his attorney, Flynn Carey. The interview was recorded and uploaded to evidence.com. The following is a summary of what was discussed. I began the interview by asking Brady to describe in detail. Emily left the house until he saw the kid in the pool. Brady made the following statements. Emily left the house at 6:10 p.m. Brady had been prepping to feed child by thawing breast milk. After Emily left, Brady, child were in the living room, and Brady began the process of feeding and asked Brady to make him mini pancakes, and the two of them cooked pancakes in the microwave. Child sat on the couch eating while Brady fed child. Brady stated that he never set child down from the moment that Emily left till I went and saw child in the water. I never set child down. After he ate, child went out the back door, and I had seen that. And I looked out to try to locate him and seen him, and I returned to feeding child. So there's a lie. If you remember the first sentence, he said, I was out there watching him. I went in to get a drink of water for moments and came out and saw him in the pool. So he's lying. That's why they want to press criminal charges. This is crazy. After he ate, Brady said he was focused on his 5-week-old baby because he was feeding him and child was getting sleepy. He told me after I located child, I returned to him feeding and doing all the things I just explained. Brady looked outside and saw the dog looking in the pool and had a poor feeling as soon as he saw it. It was out of the ordinary to see him standing there looking in the water as he was. The dog was looking for the kid more than the dad was. So I had stood up and immediately went out there. I asked Brady about this statement and he looked out when child first went outside. And when he claimed he saw child off in the grass by the diving board. That's crazy. I challenged Brady about the statement because child never went into the grass area. He responded, that's my best recollection of that. Now he's all lawyered up, everybody, by the way. Now he's all lawyered up. Completely different story. 100% completely different story. Wow. I stressed that what he was telling me and what was on the video are different. Brady responded by saying, I truly have nothing that I'm trying to withhold or hide in any way, shape, or form. All I've ever tried to do is recount to the best of my ability what occurred. That's a lawyer. That's a lawyer telling you to say that out loud. He recognized that he doesn't know exactly what happened with child outside and again stressed that he was watching his kids, but the time was focused on child. We spoke for several minutes about the amount of time child was outside. About 10 minutes. There it is officially. And what Brady was doing during the time is he insisted that he wasn't on his phone. And even though the basketball game was on the TV, it's not where my focus was. It was on my baby. For the record, the game that was on TV was Game 4 of the Knicks and Celtics. It was still on the TV when the officers arrived. It could be seen on the camera. Body-worn camera. I went over several of the discrepancies between Brady's initial statement and what actually happened. I mentioned Brady's claim that the last place he saw a child was playing on the hot tub platform and told him that's impossible. Brady responded, that part was once again me trying to recall anything and everything, and obviously I'd seen him up there other times before, so I think it truly was me trying to offer up as much information as I possibly could. He was lying. He straight up was lying. Brady asked for the details of what child did when he went outside, and I told him after I give him the details, I told him that he had previously stated he was sitting in the chairs that look outward to the backyard, but he wasn't sitting there. Those chairs are visible on camera DO6. So what he told the officer was he's sitting outside watching his child. And he's like, well, I don't remember. Like, no, you don't, that's a lie. Like, there's not like, oh, I'm trying to recall. No. He knew he was in trouble from the moment, and so he lied to the officer. He lied to the officer at the scene. And so the officer looked at the cameras and said, hey, what you told me is a lie because I'm looking at those chairs and you were not in those chairs. Wow. Damn. He responded, I was sitting on the couch. After being prompted by his attorney, he described sitting on the west side of the couch facing the TV with the sliding glass door to his right. His lawyer has to help him with this, by the way. That's why his lawyer's there. Later in the conversation, I asked for details about child going outside. Brady previously stated that he knew child was outside, so I asked for details about the interaction before child went outside. Brady said there wasn't much to it. He loved to be outside. He loved to play outside. And so in my mind, it was, just that of him going and doing as he routinely had others going out to play. The difference was I was the only parent home. He claimed that he usually goes out with child when Emily is home. He then stated, I thought honestly that it was harmless for him to do that because I was not per se out of the ordinary. He reiterated that it was common for child to go into the backyard, but parent usually accompanied him. This is crazy. Brady said that Catch a Kid was regular on the pool except when they were using the pool or every other Tuesday when the pool service Puddle Jumpers comes. I asked how often child goes outside. Unsupervised, Brady said it's definitely not the norm, but there had been times where he would be outside. I don't have an exact answer for you, but it's definitely not the norm to be outside unsupervised. As the interview was concluding, I asked Brady if there's anything else he would remember about the 10 minutes child was outside. He told me he didn't remember where the swaddle was or if he had to go child room to retrieve it. As we were wrapping up, I told Brady it's clear that for 10 minutes you didn't look outside. His attorney asked, why do you say that? I told him that child was next to the pool for 2 minutes and then trying to swim for 2 more minutes. Brady lowered his head when I told him and eventually said he's only tried to recall and recount my experience of it. He stressed several times that he's doing his best to be open and honest and there's no outside distraction. This child was... He then stated he was connected with the newborn baby. This tragic incident was a result of child being in the backyard unsupervised while playing around the unsecured pool and unable to swim. It is clear from the video that he did not go into the water intentionally. Rather, he tripped and fell while playing with an inflatable chair. Child was in the backyard from 1829-42 until Brady found him in 1839. He was in the water from 1832 until 1839. It is clear Brady's attention was divided and he was not watching Child at all during the critical times mentioned. During 2 interviews, he did not know what Child was doing before he fell and did not see Child struggling to swim. I don't even leave my 10-year-old outside for more than 2 minutes. I mean, I have a fence. And when my kids go swimming, there is someone out there at all times. Okay? I wouldn't even let my 10-year-old go outside unsupervised for more than 10 minutes. Like, I'm out there hanging out anyway. Like, that's crazy to me. A 3-year-old? Not that it matters, but what's the time difference between the first statement and the second? I think it's days. Once they got a hold of the footage. This is so bad. This is it. This sets me off. Poor Trigg died alone and scared, fighting for his life. And this reminds me, especially since so many people were warning them about the fence, and she would delete comments about the fence, and she did a video like, oh, we're going to do it soon. They had to catch a kid, and they didn't put it up. Oh, my gosh. No evidence suggests that Brady saw a kid in the pool and failed to act. On the contrary, he acted immediately when he saw him, leaving his infant swaddled on the ground in the patio area. Arizona revised statute defined criminal negligence as with respect to a result or circumstance described by a statute defining an offense that person fails to perceive a substantial and justifiable risk that results and will occur when the circumstance exists. Okay, this is the law part of it. Based on these case facts, I will be submitting the case to Maricopa County's Attorney's Office for review of violating ARS 133623A3, child abuse with criminal negligence. And as we know, they did not press charges. This conclusion is based on several factors. Brady knew the pool net was not in the pool. He knew Child was in the backyard and didn't know how to swim. According to video evidence, Child was in the backyard unsupervised for more than 9 minutes and in the water for 7 of those minutes. Brady's statements do not match what is seen in the video. He did not accurately describe one thing Child did after he went outside. This leads me to the conclusion that Brady was not aware that Child was doing and was not watching him. The combination of these factors led Child to drowning, and a remedy to any of the contributing circumstances could have prevented the outcome. Unreal. BWC was activated for my involvement in this investigation. This is just another, basically, the night of the event. This report contains body cam footage of a telephone conversation. Under DR205, Chandler PD received a message from Savannah Martini, who was a social worker at the hospital. Using my department issued cell phone, I spoke with Savannah on the phone. Savannah stated the time of death was 1,500 hours on May 18th. Should be June, I think. I think that should be June. The provider at the hospital's called time of death was 6:02. Okay. Thank you, Danielle. Yeah, they did not press charges, and it's really, really, really interesting to note that I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong about this, that Emily Kiser's family are lawyers, pretty high up lawyers, I think. So they're pulling all the strings to try to sue to get this stopped from being put out, and now I know why. I think we can all agree that they wanted this. They didn't want this out here, and this is why. 100%. He gets no. Well, I mean, they're punished for life. They lost a child. Like, that's punishment. I agree. But he should have been charged, I think. This report is to summarize 3 search warrants concerning Brady Kiser's cell phone activity on May 12th. Get this, guys. Get ready for this. Was written to Apple Inc. for the Cloud rotated phone number. Was written to Verizon for the same number. Was written to DraftKings Inc. based on information obtained for Verizon. The phone number in question was identified by Brady. And it said, guys, get ready to be super pissed, because you're about to get so angry, okay? The search warrant to Apple was submitted to the company on June 11th. Apple returned a significant quantity of data from the iCloud account associated with his phone. One account was identified by Apple ID. iCloud setting was retention of the forever. This account had recorded creation date, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's just saying we got all the information from his phone. The extraction of the data indicated that there were 7,235 chats, 28,599 Instagram messages recorded in the data. However, the last message recorded in the data, photos, was on 5/6/25. Photos were recorded on May 7th, May 8th, May 9th. The only data recorded in the iCloud account, sorry, this was May, were calendar entries. Only recorded May 12th is calendar entry. Taking out recycling calendar entries, blah, blah, blah. On second iCloud account was returned based on the phone number. This second account was identified by Apple ID, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. Here we go. None of this really matters. Man, they went really into detail with this investigation. These cops did a really good job. Really good job. Okay. Here it is. Verizon captured content for a few of the SMS messages at 16:31. This is at the time this is all going down, by the way. The device received a message from 41479 with the following content. Your DraftKings verification code is 666938. At 17:01, the following were received in the device. 22798. Hi, it's Capital One. Did you just try to make this purchase with your Platinum card? Raising Dog declined $54. Text back yes or no. The basketball game on television when officers arrived was Game 4 of the NBA playoff series between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. Brady mentioned this game in a first interview and was specifically asked about his interest in the game during his second interview. The broadcast for that game was a listed start time of 16:30. According to open source records, the Verizon records show a correspondent to the online betting company DraftKings very near the start of the broadcast. Someone was written for clarification of Brady's activity with DraftKings on May 12th. A search warrant was submitted to DraftKings on July 7th and they respond with 2 electronic files on July 11th. Specifically, 2 Microsoft Excel files were received from the companies. Get ready, guys. Get ready. Yeah, Christina. Yeah. Watch. The first file contained a single file indicates that a $25 wager was placed on Jason Tatum scoring more than 40 points. Jason Tatum was a player on the Boston Celtics. That wager was a winner, paying $102. This wager was placed at 2014. Okay, this is 8/14. At 8/14, timestamp is listed in file without time zone identifier. Emailed Melissa Hogan, senior paralegal. Asked her about the time zone for that. She said confirmed 2014 was Eastern time in email response. The second file was password protected and the password was provided by email. The file included 4 tabs identifying Brady Kiser with email and the account holder. The phone number listed in the account was blah. The second tab is labeled deposits, contains a record of $150 deposit being made to the account. He was gambling. This mofo was gambling while his son was dying in the backyard. And so he is gambling and he's focusing on the game because he's got a bet and he's watching it on TV. And so he's sitting there watching this because he's gambling and he wants to win money instead of watching his child in the backyard, whom he lied about seeing. Yeah, congrats, Brady. You won $110. You piece of shit. So this mofo was gambling. If they tried as hard to protect the babies they have tried to protect themselves, that baby would still be here. This is the thing. This is what they didn't want out. This isn't about like, oh, we don't want to relive it. This is about now we see what happened and it is bad. Okay, a lot of people were commiserating. Maybe he was high, maybe he was drunk, but he was gambling. Okay, that's what he was worried about at the time, not his child. And he lied to the police officers that he was just focusing on his baby. He was focusing on his baby. He was focusing on his baby. He was focusing on the fucking basketball game. Sorry for swearing. That's crazy. The third tab is filed labeled withdrawals and contains a single line that reads none. Fourth tab is labeled geolocation. Blah, blah, blah. Brady would have been at the hospital, latitude, longitude, place activity, Kiser's residence. Okay. That's nuts. There's the pool. That's crazy. You have a pool that freaking big in your backyard with no fence around it. Insane. Just looking through. Okay, there it is, everybody. Isn't that nuts? And so, why refuse to press charges? He's clearly there was negligence here. He was gambling while his son was dying. And that's why Emily Kiser and her husband Brady did not want this out there. That's the only reason. It wasn't about privacy for their son at all. It wasn't like, oh, let us grieve. It was like, holy shit, we're terrible people. I don't want anybody to know because I make my living online. I make millions of dollars as a social media influencer who exploits my children. And I don't want everybody to know because I want to come back to the internet. I want to make millions of dollars still after this. They're done on the fucking internet. This is over. Brady should have been charged, in my opinion. They have not posted online, but some people have taken selfies with them at like the store and stuff like that, which is crazy to me. Gambling while knowing his toddler was alone by an unsecured pool. Privilege. Again, and they have privilege because I'm pretty sure Ashley, again, high up lawyers in her family or his family, one of the two. And so there were strings pulled, there was favors, allegedly, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, after reading that, any reasonable person is like, holy shit, man, this guy was clearly gambling, focused on something he wasn't, and then lied to the police about it. Like, it's so there. It's literally all there. You lied to the police, then made it up, then you came in with your lawyer, and then you made up a different thing, and then we realized at the time you were lying then too, and we found that you were gambling and watching the game at the time. That's crazy. See, a regular person, right, I would push for charges against my husband. That's divorce. If my wife did that, which she would never, but if that, I'm sorry, I couldn't be with her anymore. That's negligence causing death? And you were gambling instead of watching your children? You know what I mean? And so the fact that they're still together and the fact that they're not being charged and everything else, and the fact that they're trying to sue to have this unreleased is actually crazy because all she cares about is coming back to the internet and making money. That makes me so mad, guys. After reading that, my heart is broken for that child who suffered in that pool for 7 minutes while he's sitting in there gambling and winning $110. I couldn't forgive. No way you couldn't. And it's crazy. He moved out to his brother. I mean, the marriage is probably over. There's no way. I agree. There's no way they stay together. But suing to keep all this stuff off the internet because you have money to do it, it's just diabolical. Okay, that made it worse. That made this case even bigger. What's that called? The Streisand effect or something like that? She made it way bigger than it had to be. Yeah, they charge families for leaving a child in a hot car, and sometimes it's just they forget, and that's it's all accidental. But again, you should be charged for that. You should absolutely be charged for that. This is just like that. They didn't want it out. Well, the police released it because they have to stay accountable. If you can't just say no, we're not going to release this. You have to release this stuff because then you're going to be able to, like, people who are rich and famous and have money, will they be able to just like literally shut it down? Did somebody send me the body cam footage? I don't see it here if someone has sent it to me. Because I'll look at it. If they are rich and they both don't want to be parenting that night, why do they get a babysitter? I mean, this isn't Emily Kiser's fault, but what I think Emily Kiser holds blame for is not having a pool fence and being a part of that, not putting the thing over. So they both share that responsibility, and the fact that she just tried to sue to keep this all off the internet because privacy. Nah. And here's the thing about this, guys. You don't get to exploit your children and like tell everybody about your life and then put them on the internet and make money off them, and all of a sudden when tragedy hits, be like, oh no, you can't have any of this. That's just not how this works. And that's crazy that she did this because she had the audacity, right? Because all she really cares about is her reputation. Just leave it out in the open. You made mistakes, leave it out in the open. Okay? But you are so privileged that you're like, hell, none of you guys are having any of this. And now they do have a pool up around their fence, by the way. Or a fence up around their pool. I keep saying it that way. It's really weird. How do you sue for the cover up your husband? How do you disgrace your child's memory like that when it's face? Yeah. Trying to protect your husband who was completely at fault. That's another reason that she shoulders some of this blame, right? But he should be in prison, in my not prison, but he should have been charged and been, there should have been some accountability. Doors don't lock, alarms don't work, the netting isn't up. Every single thing that could have went wrong, and then lied to police both times. Like, didn't mention anything about gambling, right? Why didn't he mention? Why doesn't he just straightforward with the police when they were asking questions? Look, I was on the couch, I was gambling, I was focused on the game. Just tell the truth. But it doesn't matter. He lied and still got away with it. That's what's crazy to me. He still got away. The police wanted to press charges, put it towards the prosecutor. The prosecutor, nah, we're not going to prosecute this. That's insane to me. No alarms, no pool fence, no pool net. Kid was left out there and he lied. There's so much here that's crazy to me. Yeah, why lie when there's cameras? Because I think what he said was he sent them to the place. He's like, oh yeah, they collect the footage off site. Go get it. And they said, no, we don't. It's at his house. And they went to get it. Like, maybe he was trying to mess with it and he couldn't figure it out. I don't know. Thanks, Camp Homestead. I appreciate you. This is crazy to me. Yeah, the police got the footage, and this is how they discovered that he was lying to them. He said, here's the recap, if everybody's wondering. Brady Kiser said in his first initial statement to police when they got there, I was outside sitting in a chair watching him on the grass. I went in for moments to get water. He said the word moments. It couldn't be more than a few moments. I went out and he had drowned. Okay? Then they got the body cam foot. And then the second interview, he said, oh, no, I was in feeding the baby. And, it changed a little bit. Right? It was then became 3 minutes, then became 5 minutes. And then the police said, look, I've got the footage here. You were never in that chair outside watching your kid. The kid was not even over there. And you weren't out there for 10 minutes. So no, you're lying. People are saying, PD, we're only suggesting charges so they didn't have to actually take a stance. People are so quick to dismiss negligence when they're in a parasocial relationship with the parents. It's crazy. The fact that he lied to police you should be able to, you got to be held accountable for that. Exactly. Like, these people are millionaires, so what's $110? Is that a gambling addiction that's happening? So crazy. Obstruction of justice. Well, I think what happened was, how is he not charged, Raven, for lying to police? Because when he got there, he's like, oh, look, I'm just trying to recollect. And his lawyer gave him all the lawyer speak and all the things to say. Oh, this is my best recollect, blah, blah, blah. It's just the way you can lie if you just have the right terminology. No, it is not going to court. They are not pressing charges. He just got away with it. Man, that's crazy. That's so heartbreaking. So apparently there is body cam footage, and I don't see it here, so I'm looking for it. Oh, there's a bug in here. Okay, so 13 hours ago, there was a hearing, and as Reddit is concerned, the minutes are up for the 8/7 close to the public hearing, which had been labeled a status conference, but in fact turned into be an oral argument and decision on the Arizona Republic's motion to release the police report. Edit. I did not realize when I originally posted that you click on the link to the minutes at mobile. Okay. EK Emily Kiser did prepare a written response to the motion, which delivered directly to the court and not filed. Discussion was about filing under seal as set forth in the minutes. The 2 pages of EK seeks to redact from the police report are apparently a moment-by-moment narrative, description, and real-time transcript of the video of Triggs drowning. This is what happened. So she sought to have the moment-by-moment narrative description redacted from the police report that we got, and they said no. The court agrees with plaintiff's position. The public can fully understand the scope of the investigation and rationale for the county attorney's decision through redacted 53 pages, which describes the events, timeline, witness accounts. Transcript on the dispute. So yeah, this just went in like 13 hours ago. So there it is, guys. She tried her best, got her lawyer, spent a whole shit ton of money, and lost. So there is a little bit of justice here. A little bit. The world gets to hear about it. They get to be held in the court of public opinion against this. And she never gets to come back to the internet and exploit children ever again. I mean, maybe she will. Because people will, everybody's got their tribe, right? But at this point, you are lying. And then you protected your husband. You hired lawyers to try to sue the county to hide this from the public. Because all you're worried about is your fucking reputation. Does that not make anybody else mad? Like this world that I cover every day. You get everybody. You get every kind. But does this not one specifically make you so mad? I can't find the body cam footage. If someone can find it and send it to me, I'm all ears. Oh, here we go. Maybe this has it.
12 News obtains a search warrant application. 12 News.
Out with family police that, according to the applicant,
No, that's not it. Oh, they're gonna. If she comes back, she'll turn the comments off. She has no business come back to the internet. After this, there's no business come back to the internet. Okay, you exploited this child, and he had so many parasocial relationships with weird strangers on the internet, who were like out there saying weird shit. Okay, and all you cared about now is your reputation on the internet. That so badly that you spent probably tens of thousands of dollars to sue the county to hide this from the public. Thank God there's some justice, guys. Thank God that money doesn't always win, right? Thank God. The fact that she still, like, she turned the comments off on her Instagram post, of course. But the fact that she still has social media up collecting views and money is crazy to me. I would have walked away already. Shut it all down and walked away. Is there a mosquito here? There's a mosquito in here. Biting me. This mosquito's been down here for like days too. All right, so this is a crazy case. We're obviously gonna keep track of. When I do find the footage, we'll do another live. We'll go through that together. This is the true crime side, or the real crime side of the Dad Jones podcast. This one just happens to have Venn diagram. That's family vlogging, family, child exploiters, and crime is one circle. And so it does. Yeah, just leave this family alone. No. Nope. You don't get to get out there and do what you do about this child, right? You don't get to do that and then be like, okay, well, let's get back to it. No. You're going to be held accountable in the court of public opinion. You don't get to get away with this. You don't get to be there gambling on TV and, making $110 and lying to the police about it and getting away with it. Their marriage is over for sure. Like at the very minimum, it's got to be over. But like, there's no way you're coming back from this. There's no way. There isn't the full transcript, so he kind of won. But we got enough to know that he was lying. Like, proof in the pudding right there about the lies. Yeah, I'm not coming. I'm going to bed. So sad. Yep. Melly, you said it. I knew there was a reason why she wanted to keep the facts hidden. And I'm going to head over to her Instagram page and see if I can do this here. Let's see. Here it is. First one that pops up is AZ Central. Here's some of the comments. As reporters, I get wanting to have the story, but if we know she's trying to grieve in private and people have been vile to her family and they're suffering imaginable loss, why are we reporting on it? Because it's the news. Because this is important. I hate people who are like just like the same people will like ingest true crime content and murders and serial killers, no problem. Right? But this one, for some reason, this one's off limits. Right? Nah, F that. Let's read these comments together. I'm going to make fun of these people. Look at these comments. This is why she wants details hidden. Wow, that's a long time now. She's blocking everyone on TikTok. 3 reasons Emily fought. So she's out there tonight busy reading comments like this and blocking people. That's what she's busy doing right now. Blocking people. That's what she's doing. Get a life. Get off the internet, Emily. You're done here. Okay? You don't even go here anymore. How are you out there just blocking people? Come on. Is that really what you're going to spend your time doing? Holy shit. Why was he outside alone? I thought that was a rumor. It's not true. It is true. Everyone feels sorry for Emily and Brady. And yeah, initially, yeah. But now we're trying to be like, let's get them held accountable. Okay? Because this child doesn't get justice. They had no net, no fence. People were defending them saying they had net installed. They had it installed. They didn't have it over the pool. If you look closely to the math, Brady was betting with DraftKings on the game he was watching at 1,700. The call came in at 1,800. If I were Emily, I'd be in jail myself for taking care of this ass myself. It's crazy.
Emily and Brady. So the Arizona court have ruled in Emily Kiser's favour today.
The fact that people are just kind of standing up for her, that's crazy.
We got a huge update on Emily Kiser.
Just leave the family alone. No. You don't get to put your life on the internet, and then when you shit the bed, you get to be like, oh, forget all this. We want this all private. You don't get to do that, everybody. And this is just, again, the biggest narrative of this whole conversation is this is why you don't put your kids on the internet. Right? Can we agree on that? Jeez. Leave them alone. Shut up.
Emily and Brady.
Kiser's account, 4.1 million followers, and her most recent video, 93 million views. 93 million views. She has time to turn the comments off, right? But doesn't want to take down the videos because this is making her money.
Good morning, you
right
guys.
now as we
Happy
speak.
Monday. It's not
She's
expecting
over.
Emily
It's
to
over
sleep
for
through
her.
the night last night. I'm actually in shock, like what in the woo-woo is going on, but I'm rolling.
Insane in the membrane. 93 million. She's made bank off. And like every video after that, 40 million, 21 million, 16 million. Just millions. This has brought her so much money, everybody. I can't even, and she gained 1 million subscribers. So because of the negligence of her husband and the negligence of herself, she gained 1 million subscribers and made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right? Is there justice in this world? Is there? Thank God the courts didn't agree with her and her expensive lawyers to shut this down. Thank God. Crazy, insane. Anyway, now it's out there and you know she's having a bad night, and I hope so. But she's out there blocking people instead. That's what she's doing with her time right now. That's what she's worried about. Blocking strangers on the internet. You're cool, Emily. Freaking crazy. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Let's all take a deep breath together, okay? Don't miss this part. This is really important. Deep breath. Hold it and out. Do those with me. Those are really important, okay? Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you. And I will see you on Monday, okay? I'll see you.